Yo, what up, chat room? Welcome to our panel, VTubers, prospective editors, prospective clippers, and everyone in between. We're gonna start very soon, and we're gonna teach you all about like editing stuff and whatnot. Just as a disclaimer, we're kind of like talking about our experience, or like kind of experience from like clipper to like editor pipeline. But a lot of the general editing advice that we'll go over will be like, applicable in like most general situations.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get going.
Yeah, let's go. First, of course, you might want to know a bit more about who's talking to you, to know why can these people say this and no one else.
I mean, they gave you a panel.
That is true, they did give us a panel.
Yeah, they're letting anyone here.
Just do it next.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a little bit about myself. I am Not Seth. I've been doing this for about a few years, strictly through DaVinci Resolve. I have worked with some lovely people in these towns and corporations, such as Roastdoodle with VTuber, IF from VTuber to English, or Amelie from VSojo. And I'm very grateful to do what I do now, honestly. Over here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So next to it.
That's kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal.
Hi everyone. I'm 7th Largest Shad, or just call me Shad. I've had about the same amount of time experience with DaVinci as well as Seth here. There's some stats on screen as well. I've worked with Iron Mouse, with Doki Bird, with Porcelain Maid, and I have a few, a couple more people under my belt. But again, this editing journey has been wondrous and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What's up, everyone? I'm Sun1, and I've been editing for, I want to say, maybe about 4-ish years now. Man, long time. I've worked with a lot of different individuals, a lot of indies, a lot of different companies. Yusan, Isa Korva, Zephyriana, to name a few. Just to flex a little bit. We went to the opening ceremony and all the other stuff. A lot of the editing I did for that too. So when you go to Offkai Live and like all the fancy transitions are happening, I did that.
Yeah.
I've been just working on like Adobe Premiere for like the entire 4-year tenure, and happy to see all y'all here today. Oh my God, full room! Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, we did not expect this. That's crazy.
Okay.
But we can't forget the most important member.
Most important member.
Pointing at you.
Yeah, pointing.
HAWUPUP.
She's very important member.
She doesn't do much editing these days, but she helps a lot. Use former clipper. She's homeless, but besides the point. She helped a lot with putting all of our silly thoughts together to make this look good for all of you.
Yes, the presentation would not be possible without the organization of ours, so please give her a big round of applause.
Absolutely.
All right.
To get started off, we'll be going over the basic fundamental ideas behind editing and clipping, through the content you highlight, the thumbnails you use, and the ethics and responsibilities behind the work that you do.
Yeah.
Boobs on the thumbnail. Raunchy text oozing with drama all over a creator that you know. This video is begging to be watched. You click on the video with bated breath, nothing. All it is like at most like the streamer is just like saying like, oh, my back hurts. Oh. It's clickbait. It's a very common way that bad actors can benefit from a streamer by using insanely inappropriate titles, overblown drama farming, or just unrelated topics, all in an effort just to get people to click on the video. I bring all this up because we want to make sure that if anything gets through to y'all today, it's that there are responsibilities to being an editor. It is beyond important that if you want to learn how to click properly, you must understand the ground rules. So, the best way to avoid things like that would be to make sure, at the very least, that the thumbnail and title are at the very least truthful to the content, what the content is about. Clickbaiting is the easiest way to make sure that the community that you're using it on is distrustful of you and your work. So make sure that you're keeping things related, use common sense. Another thing to be mindful of is how your work can be seen as a reflection of the community. People take a lot from the first impression, the thumbnail, the title. They don't even have to see the video. That's all they take. So it is very important to be respectful to both the creator, the content creator, and the potential viewers that you will have. Clipping can 100% affect the content creator itself. If you recognize that thumbnail, you'll know that what I've been saying just now has been echoed in Numi's video on the topic. She illustrates from a creator's perspective on how these clickbait videos have a negative effect on her and the perception of her community.
Alright, so these guys totally forced this slide on me, but yeah. So as you can see here, Seth has created 2 examples of like very eye-catching thumbnails. Wow, great artistry.
I was very inspired.
I mean, between the 2, like they both illustrate like really, like good like stuff. Like there's subject matter, which is myself, topic, and then maybe some words like illustrating like what's going on. But I think it's very clear to tell which one is appropriate, which one's a lot less appropriate.
Yeah.
Like B would like illustrate like, oh, like just my doctor story, whatever I did there. But A is kind of implying some crazy things going on there that may not be appropriate, as talked about. And just another thing to note too is like Seth did some altercations to my model, which is like sometimes like with the art of like the model, you want to be like respectful with that too, and it might be disrespectful to the artist to like adjust that kind of stuff. So just make sure like like the the policies for the talent that you're clipping when you're like doing this kind of stuff too.
Yeah, another thing is in that thumbnail on A, like Shad mentioned, for boobs on thumbnail may not even be part of the video itself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just important to keep in mind when it comes to that. There's also, there are other things to keep in mind, as in what you should and should not clip as well. Kind of shown a few of these going into it. Maybe there's a clip you see or want to share that's very funny, very entertaining. Like, oh, this very funny moment that I want to share to this community or to other people. Maybe it's a story to talk about. Maybe like their trip to the doctor, or maybe their vacation. They want to talk about their vacation and what they went through. Those are more acceptable. There could be something that's informative. Maybe there's a life update that they had gone through, or maybe a big announcement. Like maybe they are moving, or maybe there's a graduation that could happen. Things like that can happen, and it's totally reasonable and fair to want to share and go about. There are things that can toe the line and cross the line for respect to the streamer. Things that could be more vulnerable or they're sensitive to. Maybe they saw a stream just crying out and you want to clip that. It's not very respectful to them. It's not giving them that space of wanting to be comfortable with the community they're building up. Maybe they show something on a stream like a hand cam that could dox them. That wouldn't be right to them either. Maybe there's content that's paywalled. There's membership streams on YouTube. There's Patreon streams. There's things on Fansly or Blue Twitch, things like that they have behind a wall for pay that you could just clip and put in public that was taking away from their income. And of course, Shad mentioned it briefly, anything that could be slanderous to them, whether it's a misleading thumbnail or altering their art that shows them in a more twisted way, or just painting them in a bad picture that isn't quite factual or correct to them, can also affect and should not be something you clip as well.
Yeah, so just to kind of like follow up on that as well, it's also really good to like when, as I mentioned with the thumbnail before, you want to make sure that you're checking any streaming rules or like policies for clip uploads, like from like the talent themselves, if they have that posted before you go about like, posting your clip where you're posting it. And specifically for YouTube as well, like a lot of streamers, like even if they're like streaming on Twitch, like they'll go like, oh, maybe like don't upload 24 hours, like until 24 hours after stream's passed, or you want to make sure that you're uploading after the stream for like the YouTube streams as well, instead of like during, because if you upload it like as the stream is like processing, then it's gonna flag the content like that they're taking from you, and that might be like really bad for the YouTube channel. Yeah. So a good way to just check after the stream is done, if it's like processed, is just go to the VOD, and if the chat is like rendered, like the whole chat is rendered, then you'll know that like it's okay for you to like post your clip, and the VOD is like fully fine.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to keep in mind when you want to clip, whether it's for yourself or for streamers. Some more important notes to go by when it comes to that as well. Do this because you want to, whether it's a hobby or it's an interest or you just want to share stuff. Not because you want to do it for validation, not because you want to do it because it makes you feel like you are more like friends or like close knit. Just because you do this does not mean you're closer to that streamer. You do this because you want to and you want to share these experiences. Also, it does not make you above other people that's in the community. I could be clipping, but it does not make like anyone here who's in that community less than me. We're all here to enjoy that streamer or the content we're seeing and consuming. Also, we are here to improve and to just enjoy what we like. Comparing yourselves to other people down that might be also clippers or editors, it doesn't paint you or the community you're part of in the best picture if you're competing in that sense. The last thing, of course, is just remember, all that we're doing here is all borrowed content. If there's ever a time or place where the streamer does not want their content to be clipped or to be shared, you respect that. That is their content, it's not ours. We're just helping share it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they have like the end-all say-all to their content. So like for whatever reason they say, gotta take it down if like they are not cool with it. But now that we've gone through a lot of like the morals and ethics of everything, we can get to the meat and bulk of this presentation, which is of course the editing techniques and stuff that you all came here to learn today. So let's get right into it.
A little bit, yeah.
So even as like editor nowadays, and like when I did clipping before, there's like a bit of like a workflow or like a structure of like when I grab the stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you get your clip with whatever software you're using. There's a lot of different types of software, and we'll go over some examples later on. Then you kind of like figure out, oh, what kind of video do I want to make this? Do I want it to be in like the native format with normal like how the stream is, or we want to convert it to like a vertical format, which is like TikTok, Instagram Reel, YouTube Shorts. If you're doing the former, then you want to make sure that you make a thumbnail flat appropriate, as we mentioned before.
Yeah.
Get your title, get the proper hashtags if you want to like link it through that way, and then you credit the streamer so people can go back to it or find the person that you are posting the stuff for. It's very important for YouTube stuff. It's a bit more lax on Twitter and other platforms, but it's good to keep in mind still.
Yeah, it's important to keep in mind. And besides just how you do the workflow as well, you also want to know how you get the clips. What kind of clips is it? You can go over that as well, someone.
Oh yes. There's cool. So, what kind of stuff do you want to clip, right? There's we kind of narrowed it down to 3 things. Of course, there's a bunch of different topics, but this would be kind of the 3 general things of really good stuff to clip. I have their kind of informative stuff. So that would include something like announcements, I made this new original song, or oh, I did this, I did that. It's good to clip something like that to get out to other people. Educational stuff. Sometimes they'll do a cooking stream, some kind of tutorial thing, like what we're doing right now, and clip that as well. And of course, there's also live updates, I just moved recently, those kind of things. I feel like those make for good type of informative clips.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. And next type of clip we have is story clips. Everyone loves a good story arc. And that goes also for YouTube watchers, right? Thousands and thousands of videos nowadays. People go for the story approach because viewers want to be immersed and follow along with a gripping story. Aside from a streamer outright telling a story, these videos could be higher effort works that where a ton of research and effort is done to recount history. Think speedrun history video. Or it could be stuff where gameplay is shaped into, gameplay moments are shaped into a story arc. Think streamers trying to beat Getting Over It or some similar hard game.
Yeah. And of course, my favorite type of clips are the ones that are just very entertaining. Whether it's a funny moment on stream, maybe they slipped up, or just a very funny moment between streamers, or just a clip. There could be maybe something they did a karaoke, and you want to clip that karaoke and share that favorite song that you heard that you want others to hear as well. There could be compilations where you take a stream or a game they played, and you can condense it down to the parts you want to share. There's all kinds of clips you can show, and I think it's what's very exciting about the work we do here. And of course, besides that, there's also how you can get the clips. There's a couple ways we wanted to point out. Obviously, what we're going to show here are things you can take that are absolutely free, find online, start now if you want to after this panel, and it's great. The first of which is YouTube DLP. It is a very free source software that can let you grab either a full VOD off YouTube or a timestamp. It could even be like if you just want the soundbite for a sound effect or for a song. This lets you do that, and I use it all the time. My buddy here has some issues, but it's fine.
Okay, I'm going to pick with YouTube DLP, but like it's fine. I get that right now.
But it's a wonderful software to use. I highly recommend it. We do plan to, after this panel, for anyone who might try to look for this, plan to give a link to access these resources after we're done as well.
Yeah, and my go-to there, Twitch download, I use this all the time for a lot of the other like people I work with as well, and for myself. It is also free software just like YouTube DLP, but just think for Twitch instead. It's got a little bit of an easier UI, and as you can kind of see there, like you can like either grab like a clip like in the clip section, and then grab like that from Twitch. Go grab the VOD, and there's like a little section for you to put in like timestamps starting here, starting there, because like ain't nobody trying to download the whole like 7-hour VOD to like get like a video. So yeah, it's really simple to use.
Yeah.
All right. And for editing software, we recommend y'all CapCut and DaVinci. The main draw for both of these, obviously, is that they are free.
Yeah.
And very easy to get into. CapCut is good for quick and easy editing. A lot of effects there you can just drag and drop onto the source, and you can just very quickly get like any like visual effect that you want just to get it up. Very like quick, rough, easy to point. DaVinci is good if you're willing to get your hands dirty. If you're wanting to get more involved with how you want a video to look, DaVinci is very good at being flexible for that. There are parts of DaVinci that are very high fidelity and honestly really scary to get into, like the color page, the fusion page. But if you are willing to want to learn everything that you can do with that program and with editing in general, DaVinci is very good to help you get to the end of that.
Yeah, and I think the best part about editing is finding how you want to edit. Because you find all kinds of clips on YouTube or social media, and they're all unique in their own ways. Whether it's them using PNG animations, some you've probably seen before, whether you see some like they use certain sound effects or BGMs that strike you in a very fun or enjoyable way. There can even be memes you see used on top of clips or shorts and videos, cuts and zooms, subtitles. The list can go on, honestly. One of the best examples I think of is a clipper we knew that goes by the name Tenchi. He's a very creative man. He used to put together clips featuring streamers, like typically from Ichisanji, with Germa. And he made it so seamless to where it's like they're talking together. Even though they weren't, but they are. And it's such a fun, it's such an entertaining method of clipping and sharing content that it honestly can just show you how expressive you can be with your editing. And of course, the last thing to keep in mind is you do not need to be perfect. You could be doing all of this, you work your butt off 100%, you could. But we're not always going to be able to. And I think that's an important lesson to keep in mind, is you can easily burn out doing that, or you could put yourself on such a high level of responsibility that you're putting on yourself that's hurting you, weighing you down, and we're just here to enjoy what we do. That's the most important part.
Mm-hmm.
I think another thing to keep in mind as well is you should, even if what you turn out, like you keep looking at it as like, oh, I hate it, like it's not good enough, I need more. Post it anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
You should constantly just keep trying to move forward, even if you're not completely 100% happy with the amount or like the effort that you put in or like how it turned out. Just slowly putting out like bits and bits and bits. You are going to keep learning. You're going to keep gaining new skills. Eventually, you will hit that point. And that will never happen if you keep looking at your first project with such disdain because you're not a god yet.
Yeah.
You don't want to get stuck in analysis paralysis, and like I feel like personally for me, at the end of the day, it's just like you learn techniques over time. It's all about the idea and what you want to do, and like that's the most important thing. So you just get out there and get people to see it. And speaking of that, where are you gonna share the clip, right? Once like you've done everything, we mentioned some of this before. That you see like the YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram as like kind of like the main like short platforms or like native video platforms that you can post stuff, and like following the kind of guidelines mentioned before. There's also, of course, Blue Sky and Twitter, where a lot of people post clips, and we'll usually have hashtags along with that as well, kind of like sharing with like other creators. And then there it's a bit more lax. I mentioned before, you want to post during stream, but if you're just like doing video on like there, it's like should be fine if you're kind of like live tweeting or something like that. And the last thing I really want to bring attention to as well is Discord. When I was doing a lot of things in the past, I would also share a lot of my clips to like the respective Discords where like I can put like the clip and it's like okay for it to be there and share with everyone. Like it's not just like DMing it to people, but like sharing a lot of your clips and what you're doing with the community that you're doing that editing for as well. And the fan communities and like fan Discords are also a really, really good way to do that. I just really want to point out.
Yeah, a lot of streamers Discords have a dedicated clipping channel to where you can go find Twitch clips or anything else. So that's a great place to put any clips you work on there for people to see in that community.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know we discussed a lot about clipping and clippers for yourself and for your community. But we also want to go more into, let's say you wanted to work with a client or with a VTuber, going kind of the next step.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do now. We started as clippers, and now here we are working with many types of people that we never expected to happen.
Yeah.
We kind of want to go into that a bit more as well. Of course, to start, you want to, before anything else, build up a portfolio. Whether that is just what you just started or maybe you've been doing it for a while. A portfolio is a way that can reflect what your work is and so that you can share it to future clients. There are different ways of doing that. There is YouTube Jobs. It is a website where any work you do, any videos you work on for YouTube that are posted on YouTube, you can connect it to this, and it will show you all the videos you do, any of the stats, how the views, the clients that are on there. It all adds up, and it's a wonderful way to have a portfolio set up for you very easily once you get it going. Another way is through cards. You see a lot of streamers and editors and just people in the community use it. For clippers ourselves, we used it to set up our rates, what we would charge for our videos, what we would have our terms of service. Let's say we want to be credited for a video, or if you can stream our work on a video, so on and so forth. First other thing is a lot of editors or clippers you'll see make an editing reel where you kind of just show off what you can do in one big magical video. And you can point it out like, hey, I did this. People will see like, oh, they did this, look at that. Of course, biggest thing is to just try to put yourself out there, because you can do all of this. You can have a wonderful portfolio, you can have all this work behind you, but if you don't take that first step to reach out, it won't really get you to opportunities you could receive.
Yeah, and like, that brings us to the next thing. Yeah, so scary big word, networking, ooh, yeah.
Wow.
Like, when I think about back in the day, like, trying to, like, oh, I'm like, gotta talk to people to, like, try and, like, find work or, like, get a job. It's, like, really spooky to think about like that, but at the end of the day, networking is just connecting with other people in any way, shape, or form. And that only happens when, like, you're a fan and, like, you're ingrained in the community, interacting with people. That can happen in a multitude of places, kind of like 3 things listed there. Twitter, I kind of call Twitter like the VTuber LinkedIn, basically. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you apply to other people, interact with other people, make oompies and whatnot, and like even like just like being like a fan, like replying and kind of like posting your stuff there is like you're kind of like networking yourself in the community, getting yourself out there, which is really good. If you're looking for something a lot more direct, we have 2 Discord server recommendations. The first one would be Loop, formerly Melon Slicers. It is a server kind of like an editing-based server full of a lot of very talented editors and other talents and like VTubers and people looking for work like in like all around. There's a lot of sections where like people help each other and it's very active and there's like a job posting board and a lot of editors hang on the VC as well. Could not recommend it enough. It's a very, very like professional and like good place to interact with other folks. To the right there is a little bit more of a like casual option if like that still freaks you out. It's a server that's like made for like me, Seth, Shad, and like a lot of other folks. That's public as well, and that's like on my Twitter. You can find it. And yeah, we hang out there quite often, and it's not like it's very casual. It's not like super professional, but we'll still be there to like answer any questions after. If we don't get like in the Q&A today or something like that, we will be there to like help and like shoot us a question or whatever. And if like after all of this, like the networking stuff still freaks you out, like trying to like be like on like Twitter all the time and like trying to talk to people on like the other servers, stuff like that, just know that you totally networked with the three of us today. So you got us. Congratulations, you got it. You're networking. You're networking. Wow, networking's so easy, isn't it? Anyways, yeah, you can like talk to us anytime. So like we're totally chill.
All right. We just talked about how to get yourself out there. Now let's talk about what to do when you finally landed that client. Beyond anything, you need to remember that this is a job. People are spending money now to have you do video work for them. So you need to treat this with respect. Do your best to communicate well with your clients. Let them know your game plan, how long is something gonna take, what you're able and capable of doing, and get that conversation going to fully make sure that you and your client are both on the same page. Setting deadlines, following NDA, these things are mainly to set boundaries and maintain things like scope and privacy. Either way, just be sure that you're aware of both and don't be afraid to communicate concerns on either. Again, this is not just like a one-sided like, oh, I'm just assigned to do this job. Like you yourself have a voice and should be able to speak up and say your concerns. Say what you're like, oh, I don't think I'll be able to hit this deadline, or oh, I don't feel comfortable doing this. Be sure to get a conversation going. On the flip side, please understand your limits. It could be so exciting that like, a bunch of creators are coming to you and placing their trust in you to make the videos for them, and you're gonna be the video guy for them. But if you keep saying yes to a bunch of creators over and over and over, all at once, it's all gonna pile up. And that backlog is going to be crazy. And that trust that each creator gives you will start to falter as you slowly realize that you can't make these deadlines anymore because you've decided to take on like 40 different clients all in the same week.
It is okay to say no, like if you're too like busy,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Remember, you're not gonna make like $1 billion right away. And nor will you have a constant flow of work. There will be lulls, the months even, of like just no one coming through and just no work happening, and there will be times where there's just 1,000 people coming to you being like, oh my gosh, can you make this video? I need this video, this video, this video, this video, all in 1 month. And it's just comes with the nature of video editing as a job. There's just gonna be months where there's peaks and valleys. Don't work for scraps. Understand what you need to be comfortable, and aim for that. Obviously, starting up, you're not, gonna make a ton of money. But at the very least, keep in mind about how much time and effort you are putting into each project, and price accordingly. Raise your prices when you need to, and make sure that you are, at the very least, comfortable. Tying your work and your worth to your clients is hugely dangerous. Like, it's cool to have names attached to your portfolio, but that alone shouldn't be your driving force. Nor does it reflect the value of you and your work. Working with smaller clients doesn't mean your work isn't as valuable, and working with bigger clients doesn't mean that you're better than other people, or other editors for that instance. You and the work you have stands on its own.
Yeah.
And now real quick, we're gonna get into some resources. We're slowly wrapping up here. Just a list of a bunch of things that, as an editor, I've found very, very helpful that I want to share with y'all. If you're looking for a ton of clip art, Erasatoya has a ton of images that you can search through. Stuff ranging from like this smiling little fella here. You can get like angry dogs. You can get a bunch of backgrounds and stuff, all within like the same style. I use it a lot for PNG animations because all the styles look the same, and that sort of is very appealing to me. And if that's appealing to you, feel free to grab it. I will say that Arasatoya has a limit of 20 images per project, but that's kind of loose.
Yeah.
VidEasy is great for finding stock footage to use as like talking points or just like background footage. Okumono is great for finding assets for thumbnails. A ton of VTubers grab things from here, which is great for framing. Sound Effects Lab is great for finding free-to-use sound effects. A lot of the ones in there even, you'll hear from official HoloLive stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
On the paid side of things, stock images are worth checking out, as there's a ton of poses and backgrounds to choose from. Or you can grab and Google and cut it. Okumono is on both sides because not everything in Okumono is free, but I will still attest to the high quality of content that's there.
Yeah.
Epidemic Sound is great for background music and sound effects. Once you pay for that that license, you can register your account, and then you're free to use any of the sound effects and music library that they have.
Yeah.
There's a ton of tutorials. There's a ton of tutorials online that are specific for editing. I will recommend Casey Ferris to the ends of the earth. Their editing videos are phenomenal. They specialize in DaVinci, but a lot of the stuff that you can see from them is able to go both ways. Peach, amazing graphic. Sorry about that. Very amazing motion graphic editor. Any like crazy, like insane, like AMV style edit. If you look at Peach, they probably have some video on it, and it's very quick, like 2-minute videos, 2-minute tutorials and stuff like that. Very nice. And finally, reaching out to any one of us up here, or even editors that you may know. I say a lot of the, in my growing pains of being an editor, I have reached out, obviously be respectful of them and their time. But you reaching out to other editors does work. People are willing to be like, oh, how do I do this? Like, it's very simple. You do blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Just, be respectful of them, of their time, and at the very least, you have us three.
Yeah.
That's true.
At the end of the day, you got us three. And as much as I'd like to kind of sit up here and glaze like myself and other two wonderful individuals beside me, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of really talented, hardworking editors in the space. And so what we kind of set up, and there'll be like a QR code right at the end, is like kind of like one tip of advice from a lot of experienced editors in the space. So I want to kind of share with everyone. It's not up there yet, but it'll be at the end. And each of us, we picked one of our favorites just to showcase, but there'll be the full list of everyone. So
yeah, we'll after this panel, we're gonna post this on social media, so you can access it.
Yeah.
And we're gonna also link the resources and a big list of pieces of advice from tons of clippers and editors for you all to look and get an idea of how they think people who want to get started.
Yeah. So the one that I picked in particular is from Start2D2. She's a very experienced editor, does a lot of editing for herself nowadays. And what it says there is, when you first get into editing, it can feel overwhelming. So pick 1 or 2 aspects to improve with each new project. Like learning how and when to cut stuff, or learning how to keyframe animations. Over time, you'll notice you've picked up a whole bunch of new editing techniques. This, I feel really resonated with me, because in the beginning, it was very tough for me. It was when you get into editing software, especially me particularly doing Premiere Pro, there's so many different nodes, it's very overwhelming. But just having the base idea of what you want to do and taking it step by step, oh, I want to try to do this, try and do that. Each thing, it builds up and you take baby steps towards it. And I feel that helps it be a lot less overwhelming to think of it that way.
Yeah. And the next one I picked personally because I wanted to give it a tip for someone who has a lot of experience working with other VTubers as well. This person's Jin Mitsui. They're best known for doing instrumentals, and they manage VTubers such as Bow the Whale. Their tip for us to give to you guys was to be more open to connecting with like-minded editors and to not stretch yourself too thin with your workload. try to keep a healthy balance because, like Shad said before, it can be very easy to keep saying yes and to stretch yourself so thin to where you can't keep up. And I think it's very important to keep a balanced and healthy workflow so that you and the client you work with are happy, comfortable, and satisfied.
All right, for mine, you know I had to pick my homie Orange Henge. You should be chasing numbers and trends, finding moments you genuinely enjoy and add your own unique touch to them. As long as you're having fun, that's what matters most. Clipping isn't a competition. I'm very big on viewing the work that I do as an art form. Everyone's lens is into what they enjoy is like a fingerprint of who they are. Editing is very open to showing that element of self-expression and while also setting a spotlight on what else that editor enjoys. I believe in the end, you should be enjoying this kind of work. And there are many, many creative outlets that editing can allow for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is
That's it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. We do have time for questions. If people want to line up and ask, there's a mic over there. If you have any questions regarding what we discussed or any idea for them, if you want to, you can stand over there and ask questions.
Yeah, you can ask each of us separately or all three of us at the same time, and we're like just introduce yourself and we'll take whatever question you have. Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, that's it. We
Yeah.
hope you all who are here had learned a bit from what we discussed.
Yeah, genuinely did not expect the full room today. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming.
Yeah.
Really, really humbling. And I mean, I could have done it without two great guys beside me here, and of course, super organized over there. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And bye. Oh my God.
God, Q&A is kind of like a Sunwon meet and greet too,
Who's coming to see you, though?
What the heck?
I don't know about you, but I noticed that mint being great.
Okay, yeah. We gotta go some other place after this, dog.